Matt Roberts, we're live.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
this is
welcome,
so cool.
For sure. And you know what's really cool is that like you reached out to me and you're like, hey man, like I'm moving my sister back to Athens and I've been checking out the like you're the first person to hit me up and be like, I'm listening to your podcast.
Oh, that's good.
It was great. Yeah, I appreciate it.
I've almost listened to all of them.
Wow,
I've got to 23 or 22.
Yeah, and you're 26. I think this is 26.
Okay,
Shout
awesome.
out to that. So Matt, and why were you interested in coming on today? The SOPEC.
Yeah, that's who I work for, SOPEC. It's the Sustainable Ohio Public Energy Council. I'm coming up on 6 years with them, and actually a little bit before then too, in my earlier days in clean energy, which I can touch on.
Yeah, well, are you from Athens or how'd you get here?
No, I'm from Pickerington, Ohio. So I grew up in the suburbs. So moving here, I was enchanted by the Athens vibes. I moved here in 2010 to start college. Finished in 2014 and have not looked back. I've planted roots.
Did you know, like during college, you were like, "Oh, I'm never leaving," or like what did staying here look like?
It was probably towards junior year or senior year that I was like, I got to figure out how to make this my home.
Nice. And what was that pull?
It was the community. I mean, just like many folks you've interviewed on this podcast, like the love for the area, the love that the people have for each other, it's hard to turn away from, especially when you go to anywhere else and you kind of get a sense like it's a different community here. It's not quite what you get in Athens, and then that's constantly hardened on you when you hear of people moving away and coming back, or they've moved away and they're like, oh, I wish I would have never left Athens. I miss it so much. Or you see people that come back for, just reliving their college days. Yeah. And they're like, man, you live here?
It's like, yeah, but I don't get blacked out every day.
Yeah, it's a whole different vibe now.
Dude.
Yeah.
But that is the college part of the town.
Yeah, and it's what makes this community kind of churn, and there's always going to be, the importance of the university here that kind of lets the community at large thrive and cool things to happen. So, a lot of respect for the university.
Yeah.
But I moved here. I got an interest when I was in high school in journalism, and I was very interested in sports journalism. So I wanted to be a writer for ESPN magazine or Sports Illustrated, and I still have that love today. I love watching college sports. I could watch college football all day Saturday, and I would be perfectly fine. But something about the community kind of drew me elsewhere. I mean, right when I started journalism, it was kind of the birth of social media. And it was really interesting to hear the professors at the time just talk about social media and what it could become. Honestly, it was very optimistic. It was like, we're going to have access to information. People will be able to, anyone could be a reporter, which means now you as a journalism student have to be fully integrated with all these things that are coming and be the best journalist you can be. I feel like they had no idea, the possible backlash that we're seeing today of social media with bots and misinformation.
Yeah, disinformation,
and,
malinformation.
Yeah, and like what damage that can cause and has caused. So I kind of knew early on that this wasn't going to be for me. Even the sports journalism a bit, because I was like, gosh, you'd have to do so much to make it in the sports journalism world. You have to go to all these kind of smaller market games or what have you.
For the love of the game, you have to write off 10 years of your life to the career to get in the door.
To maybe be an ESPN writer or something, right? The big shot.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't as involved in covering that, I guess. I was just more involved with the sociology of sport. And you've talked about this a little bit with when you were living in Cleveland. and just that's what
yeah.
the community is the professional sports team, or if you're Columbus, it's the Buckeyes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've always been fascinated by how society congregates around sports,
It's
and how,
weird,
how
man.
it can
It's
bring
weird.
people together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do we tap into that for other things that are like important in the world? Like,
that's a good point, man.
You know, so I took a couple classes on sociology of sport, or just sociology. It ended up being my specialization. I did end up finishing my journalism degree because it's journalism at OU. It carries a heavy weight and just prestige. But I shifted to the advertising and marketing track of journalism. So kind of sophomore year into junior year, I was kind of working to be like a creative director for like an ad agency. That's what I was starting to get really good at, and my peers had elected me to be creative director for the national student advertising competition, and
Nice.
I think Nissan was our client, if you will, amongst other universities. We ended up coming up with the tagline very similar to what they use today, innovation that excites or something, but theirs is innovation something similar.
Yeah.
But also, just like traditional journalism, I was like, okay, so I go through this. I'm going to be a creative director in an ad agency in New York or Chicago or what have you. And then I'm going to sell things that people don't really need for huge corporations that don't really do much good.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't do that. I cannot do that.
Just kind of saw through what the future might look like.
Yeah, just anticipating what the career would look like.
Yeah.
So then definitely junior year going into senior year, I just got really tapped into the sustainability community of Athens, and just like the farming community and sustainable agriculture.
How'd you do that as a student? Because that's like kind of separate. It's like almost as far opposite.
Well, you had to really get off of campus.
Yeah.
So my first internship, if you will, was with a company group called Athens Own. His name's Constantine, and he is still in operation today, works at AceNet, has a farmer's market presence, or did for a long while, at least when I was interning. He'd work with local producers and make local foods. He'd make his own makes his own cashews with his own spice blend. He was getting spent grain from the breweries and then delivering them to local farms to feed cattle, and so creating like a local supply chain for spent grain to local meat. Him and his partner had an off-grid living situation, so that was my kind of front running into solar and batteries and having an electric car, living with the land and just like understanding what plants are around you, what food you can make with things in the forest, what you can grow in this region. And that hooked me like real quick.
Yeah.
I spent time with them for at least a good year and a half, maybe 2 years, just trying to learn as much as I could and think about how I can find my path in this space. And then I got involved a lot at OU, and I was definitely a pin, like a needle in the administration. I was bothering the VP and the president all the time with, like, you guys need to have a sustainability and climate action plan. Like, we're way behind. Here's what other universities are doing. You should take us to this university so that we can see.
How did they respond to that?
It took a little while to get their response, but eventually they opened up the door, and we did go and see a geothermal plant at Ball State. They have
Who's
a different. Me and some other students that were really really cared about this. Just my classmates, my peers, folks that were taking environmental studies classes with me. I ended up getting my environmental studies certificate with my journalism degree. And I talked to my advisor. I was like, I know I don't want to be a traditional journalist. I don't want to be a creative director, but I want to use this skill set for sustainability. I want to work in this field. And she was great. I ended up getting an internship at a farm in Valparaiso, Indiana. And I did, I worked on an organic farm, and I was farming every day.
So this is after you graduated?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, my senior year, you had to have an internship before you graduated.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, during the school year, I was working with some of my, friends in this space, and took like 5 or 6 of us to Ball State, and we saw, their system, and we talked about, different things that we should be doing at OU, like investing in solar and putting it on the rooftops here, and making the buildings more efficient and up to a certain standard. And eventually a lot of that came to pass. OU created a climate and sustainability action plan. There's a lot of people involved, faculty, staff, students. They have real benchmarks and real goals that they are reaching and hitting. And there's chatter about getting solar on some of the buildings at OU. It's difficult to pull off because there's a lot of stakeholders, and it's public money, and you want to try to get as much incentive as you can and not worry about how much power you need to buy. And
yeah, 6 chessboards with different colored pieces on it.
Yeah. So I for a while I was not proud, honestly, to be like an OU Bobcat, but I think OU has stepped up in a big way, especially after I graduated, and making strides towards being a more sustainable university, and really integrating that with campus life. Plenty of work to do still. And sometimes the priorities shift with the politics or the zeitgeist of the country.
Yeah, I interrupted you. So you were talking about you started the internship in Indiana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was my senior year, or after my junior year, going into senior year. I worked at a farm in Valparaiso, Indiana. It was an organic, like, tomato. They were focused on heirloom tomatoes.
Okay.
Like, there were like 60 or 70 varieties.
Wow.
It was a CSA.
What does that mean?
A community-supported agriculture, like the Blaney family farm. They have a CSA.
Oh, well, I know about the Blaney family farm, but I guess I still don't know what you mean by the CSA. Like, yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah, CSA, community-supported agriculture. So it's where a collection of folks decide they want to buy whatever this farm produces in the growing season. And you can pay however the farm sets it up, monthly, or you can pay all up front, which I think the farmers appreciate. They get to have some of that working capital to grow more food for you. Yeah. And then you get a share of your contribution in the form of a weekly share of vegetables and other things. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, and I think that's what farmers would prefer model-wise.
Yeah.
To serve like real people that they see every week and get that money up front as much as they can to support their efforts. I imagine going to the farmer's market every week is kind of burdensome for maybe a good day, maybe not.
It's also not, like, because sometimes I get this, like, I think that there's different people at the farmer's market. Like, there are people at the farmer's market that are actually there to buy, like, their weekly groceries, but then there's also, like, the people that are there to just, like, take an Instagram picture there. You know, so it's like, that's what I heard, and even just, like, talking to some of the vendors, like, they feel that sometimes, that it's, like, not, like, I don't know, what am I trying to say? Like, it doesn't feel like the Witten market where it's like, I'm just stopping by the gas station, I'll get some corn on the way home, you know? But I get it. Like, you just can't have a market every day, you know?
Yeah.
But that's interesting. The CSA thing, I'm going to have to learn more about that. And honestly, I've tried to hit up some of these farms, but they're all busy right now.
They're managing the heat at the moment. Yeah, it's tough.
But that's cool. So this CSA thing, so you're saying this farm out in Indiana was
yeah, they had a CSA. Yeah. I was only there during the summer months because I had to come back for school. So growing a lot of greens and some things were starting to sprout up, like asparagus and fennel and other things that were growing quickly, or they were already established and just needed a few months to get a spring harvest. Yeah. A great experience for me, especially to feel like what it's like to be a farmer. I mean, woke up every day at like 6 or 7, and we worked till like 6 or 7. But then also what made it work for the internship, being a journalism student, was I helped them do creative advertising and marketing for that CSA.
That's cool.
So redid their their CSA like marketing materials and like their pamphlet of picking what food you wanted for the season. Going into the town, working with some of the local food producers, bakeries, what have you, to try to enhance that CSA offering, or see if they wanted to buy directly from the farm for their restaurant. Mm-hmm. And I rode on a bike, like a child's bike, on the days I had off to get into town to do that.
That's hilarious.
It was just like 6 miles, so I was sweating. And then
how many other people were on? Like, were there other interns at this farm?
Yeah, there was 2 other interns.
Nice. Someone
from Missouri. I was from Ohio, of course, and then another person from Michigan, and we all meted in Indiana. They actually finished the internship and did a full 6-month growing season.
Oh, wow.
Or so. They weren't going to school like in August like I was.
Yeah.
But it fulfilled the internship requirement. Nice. I was like, I'm doing this for real. In my senior year, I ended up having a job at the Voinovich School as a undergraduate.
Is that School of Leadership, Voinovich?
Yeah, Voinovich School of Public Leadership and Service, something like that. I got a job as an undergraduate research scholar. And so I did a few things there. I also had a side gig with the Environmental Studies program, kind of like recruiting more students to go after that certificate and host events on campus around environmental studies issues. Mm-hmm. But with the research scholar job, I was able to also set up like what we call brown bag lunches, bring in people from the community or the industry of sustainability to the Voinovich School and have staff and students be able to come for a lunch and listen to a presentation.
Nice.
But then I did a lot of research on the Ohio clean energy landscape, the market. And then that's really what kicked off my career. At that time, Ohio was the first state in the country to freeze or roll back their renewable energy portfolio standards, which is just like a law that states pass that says you have to have this much renewable energy produced in the state.
And you're saying Ohio was the first one to rip that back and just say, whatever, we don't give a shit?
Yeah, for 2 years, like 2014 to 2016 or so, they did that. And that's not even the worst thing that's happened in Ohio. But then I was like, okay, so what's the issue here? Why are we doing this? So then you unpeel the layers and you understand the politics and who's buying what legislators, essentially, in our state government, and it's the electric utilities and it's the fossil fuel companies for sure. And they still have a huge grip on what's going on. And so it was like, we really need to create local control, local development of renewable energy, market opportunities for people to access clean energy and really start moving towards what I feel is just an inevitable shift. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a little bogged down in this country because of our politics, but the rest of the world is kind of moving this direction because it's just a better technology. It's cheaper. It's going to get cheaper. So kind of honing in on it is just, being influenced.
Yeah. Is it more like, are these entities outside of the United States, are they doing it via mandate? Or are they doing it via education supported and backed by the citizens? Like, because like the things that I disagree with are like the mandates. Like every vehicle has to be electric by I'm not into that, right? But so like, are they accomplishing it through like a iron hand with a velvet glove? Like, or is it like they've educated the public and the public, because it just seems like most of it is the former.
Yeah, some of it is like in very progressive European countries, right? And they're like, we just don't want to sell petro-based cars by 2035, 2040. Some countries that are then mostly the case of just generating electricity, they've just shifted to it because it's the cheapest, quickest way to meet their needs. Now and into the future. So a lot of Northern African, South American countries, Asia even, are just moving this direction because it makes sense, and because they weren't as developed before, so they weren't already tied to a system that we're in now.
Yeah, that makes
Aging
sense.
infrastructure, heavily tied to a fossil fuel based economy in a lot of ways with pipeline infrastructure.
They just put a new gas pipeline in Athens too.
Oh, okay.
In the plains, I saw it this summer.
Yeah. So it's just a lot of it is just kind of timing, really, and just their status of where they were as a developed quote unquote country.
Yeah. So you're starting to get involved in this like clean energy.
Yeah. So I got really really involved. I was involved in some activism groups too when I was a student, kind of just getting out. And that was fine. A lot of the issues were around fracking coming into the area, and just water quality around that, and disturbance of water tables, and just possibly interrupting farmland. Issues of just like just land rights and kind of preserving the natural spaces around this region. But yeah, there wasn't really a lot of groups or action around clean energy locally. So after I graduated college, I did AmeriCorps service with ComCorps, which is the AmeriCorps program through the School of Medicine at OU. That was a way for me to stay in Athens.
Nice.
I wanted to stay in Athens, so that bought me another year.
Yeah.
That was a great experience.
What did you do with them?
I was the first service member at FedHawk.
Oh.
Yeah. Their first AmeriCorps service member
So
ever.
what'd you do for FedHawk?
A lot
Just
of cool
the
stuff.
entire local school system?
Yeah, the secondary school, the middle school, and the
Okay.
high school, not Amesville Elementary.
Yeah.
So part of it was, it's ComCorps, it's around community health. So a good enough portion of my days I would help the lunch staff prepare fresh foods.
Nice.
They were focused on, the main courses, getting things in the oven.
Yeah.
Prepared, and so then they left them very little time to do the salad bar that they had. So I spent maybe a day or two each week prepping all the stuff for the salad bar.
Nice.
That way that there was like fresh foods available for the students. I also did a cooking club for a good portion of my time, so that was an opportunity for middle school and high school students to come together and cook a meal together.
Nice.
And it was an alternative to whatever they were serving for lunch.
Ah.
So I did all kinds of stuff, and I used produce through the CFI network.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out to the CFI.
Yeah, absolutely. So butternut squash ravioli I made. That was probably the favorite.
Nice.
Squash, making salsa. And we actually did some things using food that was grown out of the school garden.
That's pretty cool, man.
So I would get involved in the school garden. Though there was a teacher there that was like the champion of that. And
Shout
made
out.
it part of their curriculum, if they will.
That's cool.
So I tapped into that a little bit. I helped coach the middle school girls basketball team, which I was terrible at.
Yeah. Did you play basketball?
Yeah, I love basketball.
Cool.
I played a lot of rec in high school. I played a lot when I was a student at Ping. Pickup games like for hours.
Yeah, that's fine. And what's cool about FedHawk is it's like kind of not like it's away from like if you were just a student, you don't know who FedHawk is,
yeah,
right? Or where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's cool. Yeah. So that's cool that like you got a little bit outside of the city limits.
Yeah, and a lot of that I learned from my escapades outside the campus.
That makes sense.
Tapping into the sustainability world.
Yeah.
And the people I met through that. So I got to learn about Athens County and the larger region.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Through that interest. ComCorps is great. I met a lot of people that I'm friends with today. The AmeriCorps network's very strong in Athens County. I think there's like 50 or 60 AmeriCorps members per year that serve in this county.
Wow.
About half through ComCorps, the other half through Rural Actions program or so. So it was maybe the last month of service, and there was this initiative that started to bubble up. It was called Upgrade Athens County, and it was about Athens County competing in a nationwide competition to be the most energy efficient community in the country. There was a $5 million.
Based on what statistics? Like just a set bar of like.
Well, that's where the story gets interesting. But what their goal was for communities to work with their utility companies, the electric utility, natural gas utility, and measure progress and measure reduction in energy usage.
That is progress. It directly correlates to a reduction of usage.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That is
that's definition. Like how you verify that
yeah.
you've done the work.
Yeah.
You know, you see collectively the amount of electricity used from this year to this year dropped, or natural gas use dropped. Georgetown University was leading this energy prize competition. The county commissioner, Chris Schmiel, he and the guy who started up the Pawpaw Fest. He was the one that got tapped into this and put in the Athens County's name into this competition.
So that's what the Upgrades Athens County thing was. Chris Schmiel pushing this thing.
Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of board members to help kind of keep this afloat, and to meet regularly and to think about strategies to help the community be more energy efficient. They ended up hiring a person who's a very good friend of mine now, Sarah Conley, to lead this initiative. And then they, around May, like right when I was graduating, were looking for additional part-time help. So I applied. I had a lot of background and interest in sustainable energy. So I'm very thankful that I got that job. And we just hit the ground rolling. I mean, we got the community involved in a lot of different ways. The AEP Ohio ended up giving us 48,000 LED light bulbs that we distributed throughout the whole county, working with local landlords, especially companies that have like multiple properties, right, to get it out quicker. Gave it to individuals at events. I think each person got like a bag of 5 LED light bulbs.
Nice.
So that was a way to get the electricity usage lower at wherever these were getting installed.
Just like the arithmetic. It's like, if you change 10 light bulbs, maybe it doesn't matter. But 48,000, like
amongst the whole community. And then you get people thinking about what programs can I tap into. At the time, the utilities had rebate money if you got a new fridge, or programs to make sure you're getting your filters replaced in your furnace. Programs if you were income eligible to get your house weatherized, like some more insulation, sealant around the windows and cracks in the walls, things like that. So the utilities got behind it because they were like, this is going to help us reach our renewable portfolio standards. At that time, they were about to come back on. It was a 2-year freeze from 2014 to 2016. So then they were back on making sure that they were hitting their targets for energy efficiency and renewable energy purchasing. So to them, it was like, great. Athens County's got this program. You guys run with, we'll give you the light bulbs, we'll give you the support that you need. That evolved.
So this is, you're saying this is under the UAC thing? What was it?
Upgrade Athens County, all around that. Okay. Yep. At the same time, SOPEC got started up. At the time, it was the Southeast Ohio Public Energy Council. It's now Sustainable Ohio Public Energy Council, to be more statewide. But what SOPEC does, bread and butter today, is community choice aggregation, which is possible in Ohio.
Community choice aggregation.
Mm-hmm.
What did you just say?
Yeah, community choice aggregation, or CCA.
What does that mean?
It is the process by which a local government has the ability, or gets the ability, the authority to purchase electricity or natural gas in bulk for its residents. If this isn't passed, like a community has to pass this on a ballot to allow their local government to do this work. But if it passes and a program gets set up, then the local government can can do this purchasing on behalf of their residents. If that doesn't exist, then what happens is the utility company, through a complicated kind of auction process, basically purchases the electricity for you. And that's like the rate that you get. It's a regulated rate. The state regulators monitor this. They monitor the process, and then it's just a set rate that everyone gets if they, if they're not served by an aggregation program, or if they don't shop for their own like electricity or natural gas rate.
I didn't even know you could do that. So explain the difference. So like right now, like if I just have like Buckeye Electric or something, like BEC, like I'm just buying, that's the ladder that you explain, where like they're just getting a rate they give it to me versus like I don't understand where this local government thinks it's like, they're bargaining the rate for you? Like why is there another middleman?
Essentially. So this is where there's some devil in the details. That you cannot do this process in a rural electric cooperative. So
and that's just because there's probably not enough like competing services, or?
Well, it's technically that like the local co-ops, like, they're not big enough in a sense. Technically, every single customer owns or is a member owner of an electric co-op. And so they have the authority individually or collectively to go to the board meetings and say, we want you to start procuring this type of power, or we want you to consider these different things. We want these offerings as part of our electricity service package. So that can happen today in the electric rural cooperatives space. Some communities own their electric wires, and those are municipal electric utilities. There's maybe 50 or so in the state of Ohio. They buy power wholesale, and then they distribute the electricity on their own distribution lines, and
just basically recoup at cost.
There's some benefit to doing that. Like they're able to collect some of the, I believe, kilowatt hour tax that's just kind of baked into everyone's electricity, and that'll help them kind of shore up their general operating budget as a community, or they feel like they have the capability, the skill set within their community to manage this better than an electric company can. So the aggregation mechanism is only possible in the investor-owned utility space. So the AEP Ohio's, the AES Ohio, which used to be Dayton Power and Light, all of the First Energy utilities up in Cleveland and Toledo, Akron. Those are all investor-owned utilities. And then Duke Energy Ohio is the other one, and they operate in the Cincinnati area. So you can aggregate, meaning the local governments can do the purchasing of electricity rather than the community just getting the regulated rate from the utility. The benefit is you can negotiate for a better rate. You can have
like the group aggregator.
The aggregator then is like standing, representing all of the customers, all the residential and small businesses in their community. And in Ohio, in a deregulated state is what they call it, the companies that produce power are different than the companies that move the power.
Yeah, which is what you meant by like they're buying it, because like that kind of confused me for a second.
Yeah, so there's a wholesale and a retail energy market essentially. So the aggregators like SOPEC have the competitive suppliers, either independent producers or they're buying from a wholesale power plant and reselling it. They have them compete for their business. So it kind of lowers the price. And then you can get other attributes, and that's what we focus on. Every single SOPEC customer by default has a 100% renewable energy electric supply product. So everywhere in Athens County except Nelsonville and Coolville is being served by SOPEC as an aggregator.
Wait, so say that one more time. So everywhere except for who?
Nelsonville and Coolville.
So they're excluded. Everybody else is getting power at a rate
negotiated by SOPEC, yeah. And it's
so then what are these like people like in Walmart that are like, oh hey, do you have AP? Are they the same thing?
Kind of. They're the competitive suppliers. and they can sell an individual contract to an individual person.
So they want to just do that because they want you to.
Yeah.
Shit.
But the goal of an aggregation or an aggregated community is like, we don't need any of that. We have everyone bundled together as one customer. We can get a better rate than what any individual.
So then, what would stop them? So okay, so you guys have this like collective kind of like bargaining ability. Why would somebody just go get their, or like, do they have to like opt into yours, or it's just like the rate that they're like, do they even know? Are they just getting an AEP bill that it was negotiated by you and they just never knew?
Yeah,
is that
I mean,
kind of the deal?
It's probably the case that a lot of people don't know
Yeah.
that this is happening. And I think that's just the nature of people interacting with their electric bill, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are just like, oh, shoot,
Yeah,
I got to pay this now. Yeah. I mean, people are free to shop on their own.
Yeah.
The aggregation rate is just like giving them another default option rather than the standard service offer from the utility is what it's called. So getting a competitive offer as the default instead. But people are free to like leave the program if they don't want to be part of that. They can shop for another electricity supply product from a supplier that's in Walmart or some other spot trying to fish them out.
Yeah.
Free to do that. It's just trying to create another, locally controlled kind of local option for folks.
Yeah.
That is centered around what every community in SOPEC wants, which is we want to use our purchasing power to support the growth of clean energy and renewable energy, like through our purchasing and, special programs that we can create together.
Yeah, economies of scale. You're trying to provide economies of scale to the people.
And it allows us to keep some of that money in these communities, because otherwise all of that money, if aggregation didn't exist, goes to the utility company. All of it. So we get to take a slice of that by being the local purchasing authority, and we can reinvest it in our communities through grants, through leveraging it to get state and federal dollars for bigger projects.
Do you already have examples of that?
Yeah.
So what are some?
One big project that we're doing right now is we got a $17 million grant from the federal government to
a couple dollars.
Yeah, a couple big dollars to install electric vehicle charging stations throughout Southeast Ohio, in spots where the goal is to support broader economic development, tourism, downtown revitalization. So we're putting these charging stations at like the trailheads to encourage folks from outside the region to come in with their electric cars, be able to charge while they ride the Bailey mountain bikes, or they visit like downtown Shawnee and experience some of the cool things going on there. We've got.
That's cool. Okay, so the $17 million is to the state of Ohio, not to this region.
No, it's to this. It's a large of it is to this region. We also Dayton is a member community of ours, and so a good amount of charges will be going in the Dayton proper area, kind of following there.
But then even that, like the people that put in the charging stations, like, do you have to use how many companies offer to install charging stations?
A lot.
Like, how do you get more? Like, because basically, what am I trying to ask? How do you get as much of that 17 million like back to our people as possible? Because it's like kind of to the point. It's great that the charging stations are going to go in, but if we put 17 mil like to some company up in Columbus to come down and do all this work, like to me, I mean, it's a good thing, right? But like, is there an option to like? Or is there flexibility within that? Or, like, do you get kind of, like, constrained by just...
No, it's kind of fully up on us now. We're at the point where we're asking for, like, a request for qualifications and proposals.
Nice.
And we want to work with local labor, local electricians, especially for the maintenance of these, because that will be needed.
Continually, kind of forever, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be... it just depends on kind of what we decide, but I mean the goal is that the value comes back to our customers as much as possible, and ideally the companies that build, install are as close or in our member communities as possible, so we're kind of supporting broader economic development.
So then, is this like what your day job is with SOPEC? Is that like you're helping procure these things? So like, what does it entail to like go get? I mean, you're just applying for these grants, and like these grant applications take significant effort. You know, so that's like what your day is.
Yeah, we get. I mean, it's to pay for. I mean, we're all public employees.
Yeah.
We work for all of these communities, so they make up our board, and so we're answering to the mayors, the council, the fiscal clerks of all of these communities, and we're like, okay, this is what we want to do with our funds. What do you think? What do you think we should do? And so we kind of get authority from them.
Nice.
And then as public employees, it's like we do our best to bring public good as much as we can. We're a good team. We've
how many
been
people,
successful.
When you say the team, like the SOPEC team, how many people is that?
We're up to like 17 or 18 now.
Wow.
So
and this is all across the state?
Yeah, all across the state.
Wow.
Yeah. Good portion of us are in Southeast Ohio. That's like where our roots are. Most of our communities are in Southeast Ohio. Since it got started up in Athens County, and Amesville, those are the founding communities.
Yeah, cool.
But now Dayton is a member, Cleveland's a member.
Nice. So then you just kind of have your one little office here? Like, how did you find the Innovation Center?
At the time, this was like the space to be in a co-working environment.
Yeah.
There's more options now.
Yeah, that's true.
As the world's getting there. But
COVID
yeah, this was seemed like a good spot.
Nice.
Allowed us to be kind of like fully in the community and meeting some of the businesses that are operating out of here.
So you traveling a lot, or like are you mainly here, just working remotely? With
Mostly here, mostly working remotely. We do a fair amount of traveling to like meet with communities, do presentations to council, just update them on what's going on, especially if like a new rate is coming that we've negotiated, which we just got a new rate June 2025 this month for a year.
Nice.
Lower than the standard service offer from AP Ohio and 100% renewable energy, so it's cheaper.
So it's cheaper and it is coming from renewable energy. So where are they getting that? Like the Chillicothe solar plant? Like
No, that's probably I think for a electric cooperative, I think, or maybe an industrial customer. I don't know.
So then where's this renewable energy?
Well, so at the moment, the mechanism for renewable energy, like the way to do this is to purchase the rights for electricity generated elsewhere. A lot of our, rights, what they call renewable energy credits, are coming from Texas, Kansas, Iowa, where there's an excess amount of wind energy being produced. So we purchase the rights to that and attach it to the wholesale power that we're buying on our regional grid, which is called PJM. PJM's the wholesale grid operator for like 13 states, and like Ohio, Pennsylvania, over to the East Coast, like New Jersey, Maryland. So there's like 5 regional grids. So we're purchasing wholesale from that, pairing it with the renewable energy credits, the rights, and pasting those together to get a renewable energy kind of full packaged product. The goal and what we're working on now is to use our purchasing power to facilitate a new development of a large solar farm in our member communities. So that takes a lot of planning, and it's big money. There's a lot of things that we have to consider with the development like that. But we're making steps. We're talking with developers about that, and we have a pretty big purchasing pool now. I mean, collectively we're buying like 1 terawatt hour of electricity, which I don't know how to scale that. I mean,
I don't have any context.
One house will use like 1 megawatt hour.
And a terawatt is 1,000 of those.
Yeah, it goes kilowatt, megawatt, gigawatt, terawatt. 1,000 each. Times 1,000 each increment there. So it's a lot of households. I mean, we have 120,000 customers. So maybe like 75% residential, the rest small businesses.
So what makes your life difficult? Is it like you kind of hinted it at the beginning? Is it these electric and utility companies?
Yeah, that's a part of it. There's a lot of forces at play. It's a very political space. They just made an HBO show about this called Dark Money Game, and so First Energy, big utility company, they operate in multiple states.
Yeah, they were the name of the Browns Stadium when I lived up there.
Yep.
It's not that anymore. I forget.
So they had some nuclear plants in their fleet of their business, their competitive supply business, not their moving electricity businesses. They wanted to get money to make sure that those didn't shut down. They were, on their minds, they were getting very expensive to operate. There's a lot of things to consider with nuclear. I mean, safety, just making sure that things go well, and that they can compete with, other electricity producers. Right now, natural gas basically killed coal. It was kind of killing nuclear. And a lot of people are seeing natural gas now as a bridge to then the renewable energy.
Some of the Athens buses are on. Is that true or no? Maybe it's like the Summit, but I thought that there were natural gas buses in Athens somewhere.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe there's an electric shuttle with the Athens Public.
Maybe I'm confusing it with
Athens Public Shuttle. It's the one that's wrapped with the Passion Works design. Yeah, so that's an electric shuttle.
Nice.
We were kind of part of that actually.
That's cool.
Gave some money towards that project, but it was a rural action effort. They got a big grant to do some cool stuff with the rural transportation. So, anyways, First Energy, essentially, through back channels, 501c4 groups were giving money to these groups that were giving money to politicians' campaigns, and the House Speaker was involved, the main utility regulator was involved, a lot of power players in politics and lobbying were involved. I mean, they bribed with $60 million to get $1 billion worth of subsidies. And for a while, Ohio utility customers were paying that until just recently.
That's crazy. What's the name of this documentary again?
Dark Money? Something. Dark Money something. It's a new show on HBO.
Google it. It'll come up. Yeah, okay.
The way they framed it up was at the federal level, the Citizens United case, basically said corporations can use their money as their voice.
Yeah.
And so that opened up a whole stream of just we can unlimited buy whatever we want, even people, for the legislation that we want. So they eventually got caught. Larry Householder's in jail. He was the House Speaker. A couple people took their own life in this.
That's wild.
Because they were we got caught, so I don't want to go to jail.
It's maybe just don't do things with that big of consequences.
My gosh,
take some notes.
What a mess. I mean, even some of the local politicians around here, local state legislators, were involved. Man, so that was a mess. The FBI got involved. They were infiltrating with people, getting in these groups, having dinners with these people, acting like they were part of the crew, but they were just recording everything that they said.
Jeez.
And then eventually it came down on them. And then, it still took 2 years for the state legislator to rip back that portion of the law that passed that was giving money to these new plants. And it's tricky, too, because nuclear is a source of clean energy, it's zero emission. So it's damn, we kind of need to reduce our emission footprint, collectively, right?
Well, let me clarify. Do you see nuclear as a good renewable?
I don't know. I mean, I go back and forth. I mean, because
how do you know? How do you know
if it's open and we can economically keep them running? I think we should.
Yeah, I heard they were building them just to cook them right up to these AIs. See,
that's the issue now. Is AI companies are this is
the amount of power that it takes to run the large language model.
Yeah, right? The data centers and I mean it's a firm resource, what they kind of call in the industry. Nuclear can be constantly on, running power, and it's pretty predictable. Coal plants even take a couple days sometimes to turn on.
I didn't know.
natural gas too. If pipelines freeze, then they don't have the fuel to get them to power plants. And then, solar, wind only work if it's shining and if it's windy, right? So, there's something to say about nuclear and its capability, on keeping the grid running.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's the side of it kind of proliferates nuclear enrichment and creating nuclear bombs, which is a geopolitical issue. And then the waste of we have to bury this in the ground or in a mountain for 1,000 years and hope for the best. I mean, so it gets very complicated quickly.
This is maybe not an immediate answer to some of the questions that you're trying to provide solutions for.
So I go back and forth, and more times than not, I'm like, we should just double down on renewables. Like the cost curve over the last 10 years is just dipping, and there's more room to grow, especially with solar.
Mm-hmm. Because that's like what you hear, the stereotypical renewable energy chirp is it's so expensive to put up, but
for individuals, right? For sure. I mean, it's a pretty big investment to put solar on your house. You have to be pretty well off. But at a wholesale level, for large power producers, if you pair this with batteries and capture some of that energy for when the sun goes down and then just pump it out through the batteries. And that's another thing that's getting cheaper and cheaper by the second, and the chemistry and the products that we're using to make batteries continues to improve. So it just you see the writing on the wall. If you're kind of in this space, you're just it's just not going to make sense to do anything else by 2030, maybe even before. So a lot of even utilities now or power producers now are shifting that way, especially if it's middle of the country and it's super windy all the time and flat. It's just let's just capture this. This is a never-ending stream of energy, essentially. Or even the American Southwest, like Arizona, California. It's the sun's shining all the damn time. Put up these panels. There's issues too of these products don't last forever, so they need to be decommissioned and a whole new couple thousand million panels need to be reinstalled. And so
just an afternoon of work.
Oh my gosh, huge endeavors. But I'm kind of firmly in the camp that this is just where the world's going, and of course it's going to reduce our emissions, and we need to pay attention to a warming world. And energy and power production is just a slice of the pie. There's transportation too, which is why a lot of folks are thinking about transit and electric vehicles for individual use. And then animal agriculture is a whole nother beast, and I'm not sure how we're going to tackle that. But
a lot more farmers.
A lot more farmers.
That's kind of the only thing that would work.
I mean, the more I think about it, it's just localizing more things and creating more local supply chains for things, I think, is going to be the answer, but that'll take a lot of time. But I have optimism.
So how can the community kind of support this initiative? Is it just learning more? How can they get involved? How can they,
just learning more. I mean, going on SOPEC's website for sure, just to make sure that you're in the program if you want to be, and what it looks like to be part of the program, what it looks like on your bill. Paying attention to some of the programs and projects that we have going. I mean, for 8 years, we've been working with the USDA to help farmers and small businesses all across the state invest in solar or energy efficiency for their business operation. And we help them get the USDA REAP grant, which has been around for a good while now, maybe coming on 20 years.
Wow.
Long-standing program.
So you have a website. Do you have any social media?
Yeah, we have Facebook, Instagram, maybe Threads.
Is that Instagram's
I think so.
Twitter? Instagram's X?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we kind of stopped doing Twitter. It was just there's a lot of social medias to.
Dude, I made a Twitter and I've looked at it once. I tweeted one thing to myself and then I was like, okay. Whatever.
Yeah. So. That's SOPEC's that's SOPEC's work. I've been doing that for, coming up on 6 years now. And when I was with Upgrade, Athens County, which eventually became Upgrade Ohio, which eventually became Rural Action Sustainable Energy Program. Worked with them all the time. One of the cool things that we implemented for the city of Athens was the Athens carbon fee, which is on the SOPEC website. So the aggregation rate that we negotiate for the city of Athens includes a $2 per megawatt hour or $2 per 1,000 kilowatt hour fee baked into the rate. All of that money gets collected, held by SOPEC, and is used to install solar on public buildings in the city of Athens. That's what helped build the solar facility at the wastewater treatment plant near the community center.
You see it when you're driving onto State Street, like coming from...
like that money helped pay
Richland.
for the transformer upgrade to basically allow that big of a system to come online, and it feeds like 40 to 50% of the wastewater treatment operation. Nice. So it's an energy hog, cleaning water, moving water.
It's like shit you never think about, man.
Yeah, for sure. It's always the biggest burden and biggest electricity user in a city or held by a city, even a village, is their water treatment for sure, by a long shot. But that carbon fee is like one of the first in the country. So communities all across reach out to us and be like, "This is so cool that you did this, especially with your aggregation program. Like, how'd you get the citizens to be cool with this? Like, what'd you do?" And we actually did a lot of like community forums and talked to neighborhood groups and individual people about this. We put a ballot measure before voters just to test the temperature. Like, would you be okay with this? It wasn't like it was an advisory ballot, so it didn't have any like weight. Like, it was just kind of like, what do you think? And the city of Athens voted in favor 76% yes.
Whoa.
Which is like more than any other ballot measure, I think, that's been presented to the city of Athens. And a lot of the like communication about it was like, okay, $2 per 1,000 kilowatt hours. I mean, like...
and how much did you say a home usually uses?
About like 900 kilowatt hours a month.
So about $2 a month.
We were like, this is less than a cup of coffee per month. You'll barely notice it.
The coffee, because you were going to buy it from Donkey or Brennan. Brennan,
exactly. Yeah. And so then people, when they finally, they got rid of the carbon fee, is like, what? What's a carbon fee? What do you mean you're going to charge me extra? And then you learn about it and listen to it, and you're like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, sure.
And then to go further down the sustainability chain, it's like the less it costs the county to clean its water, right? The less money your tax dollars are going to get spent on that to then turn around and repurpose somewhere else.
Exactly. Yeah, that was the second leap. Was like, beautiful. Okay, this is now going to save the city money over time by a good amount. I mean, imagine this over 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, as long as the system lasts. Like, that's going to save the city real dollars. Yeah,
so then if you are a member of the community, right, when we say the city saved money, let's reword that. You save money.
Yeah, exactly.
You save money. You're paying taxes. Like, that's how we're paying for this.
Yeah. That's awesome. Then the city can reinvest those savings to other programs in the community, like arts, community events, other services. So it's a really cool model. I'd like to see other SOPEC communities do something similar. Maybe not call it a carbon fee. Maybe just call it like a community investment fee or development fee or something.
CDI rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, but I really feel that's the kind of next evolution of aggregation programs, is adding like these adders, as long as they don't go above or too far above like the regulated rate that they would get anyway.
Oh, because it's like they're paying that $2 and still maybe coming under the...
yeah, right. It might be slightly over, with like by pennies.
But
right now,
but the $2, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
You're getting more out of the same input.
Yeah. Like, and nothing changed with this service. Like, AEP Ohio still is delivering the electricity, and it's still AEP Ohio that sends you the bill and everything like that. So fundamentally, nothing changes about your experience except a couple of dollars per month. And sometimes it's actually cheaper. Yeah.
So then your is AEP, so you're saying like the $2 gets was like per 1,000 kilowatts, whatever. But AEP is still sending the bill. So like, how is SOPEC retaining that to like? Because if they're never paying you, is AEP like raking that and like, how are you guys?
Yeah, essentially, like once all the bills are paid and it's the usage is verified and settled with the wholesale grid operator, then we get a commission per total electricity used in their communities.
Yeah. Cool.
So it's just a commission.
And then what type of oversight is in there? Like, you're a public organization. So,
we have a board meeting all the time. General Assembly is where all of our members can come together. We actually have a meeting tomorrow.
Nice. Are those open to the public? Like, you could look at the public meetings?
Yeah, those are all open to the public, so anyone can show up and say whatever they want.
Perfect. So then there is no question of like what happened to the money. Like, there's a very clear direct. Go to the meeting.
People. There's people involved watching over it.
Perfect.
So very public, and that's I think that's really important. I mean, because there's enough going on in the world.
But that's how you trust. Like, if the answer was like, well, yeah, we're ethical. That would be like, come on, man.
Are you sure?
Yeah. But that's good.
Yeah. So I love doing this work. I'm the special programs manager. So a lot of the kind of special projects, special programs that we kind of reinvest back into for our communities, I have a hand in, which has been really fun. One of the things I will do is our public pricing program, which is just where we do that same purchasing, but for the local government accounts. So I'll manage that purchasing and watching the market and kind of letting them know it's a good time to buy.
Yeah.
And we have to pay attention to everything that's going on in the world, really, because it affects the electricity price. I mean, when Russia invaded Ukraine, that was a huge market swing. A lot of countries, out of principle, didn't buy Russian gas, which shorted supply of natural gas. And so electricity prices went up by like 25, 30% just on that. COVID was a huge one. That lowered electricity rates, because demand just fell.
Because everything was turned off.
Yeah.
No businesses.
So we have to pay attention to those kind of things and just be mindful and then communicate like, we really think this is a good time to buy for, 1, 2, maybe 3 years. And we've done really successful at that too.
Awesome.
Saved local governments themselves, not just their, residents' money, but local governments millions of dollars by kind of being that purchasing partner for them. So.
What are you looking forward to with this? Are you excited about anything coming down the line?
I'm excited about our electric vehicle deployment rollout. I think that's just going to be good for Or
the charging stations, you mean?
Yeah, the charging stations. Yeah, just for getting people, early EV adopters into the community. Because right now, those are the more affluent folks that can afford a new EV. So getting that money into our communities for tourism and,
I have seen more chargers start to pop up around town. It's like the one up on, by the Hyundai dealership.
Yeah, the dealerships aren't making this investment on their own because they're getting ready to sell the electric cars.
So. Well, and it's like you come park in my parking lot for 30 minutes, charge your car. Why don't you come look at something?
Yeah,
man?
Let me show you the new model.
Yeah, or where else do I see them? I see them in our Athens parking garage has some.
Yep, and there's going to be a whole level is going to be level 2 charging.
Wow.
So that's the plan as part of our project. I think the second level or so. I'm excited about that. Excited about some of the conversations we're having about, using our purchasing power to really make a big, large-scale renewable energy, farm, development in this area so people can be like, we're part of the aggregation program and we're buying from that, solar farm right there. So, they can see, their investment in real time.
Yeah.
And that'll provide price stability, just to have a portion of our purchasing kind of locked in instead of chasing the up and down of the market. I am just excited about the sustainability movement of Athens. It gets better each year. I've been a board member of Community Food Initiatives for 3 years now, and sustainable ag and just local food has always been my top sustainability love. But even though clean energy is like my work.
Yeah, I would love to plug the CFI and hear a little bit more about CFI.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had anybody directly from the CFI on.
Well, Adam's a board member.
Oh, he's a board member. Nice. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, CFI is great. I mean, they've been around for over 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of people that have engaged with CFI through volunteering and the staff that have worked there over the years. There's incredible programs that I think have a lot of like scalability potential. So the Veggie Van is really cool.
Veggie Van's awesome. Yeah.
I mean, bringing local food to people where they live, especially if there isn't a quality grocery store or they can't really get that type of food anywhere else. And it's more than going to a grocery store, right? I mean, you get to talk with, Ivan and the other volunteers that run the Veggie Van. And so they give you recipe ideas or just like ideas of like how to cook it or how to prepare it, things like that. So it becomes more of an experience. And that's in Nelsonville, Coolville, Gloucester.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Kind of slept on portion of CFI's work is the Sprouts and school garden efforts. So Sprouts is kind of like a curriculum and just a process for getting kids involved in understanding where food comes from. Like it doesn't just come from a grocery store. It doesn't just pop up there. But this is how you grow food, and you can try these things. Like you can pick a cherry tomato off, and you can really feel like the freshness and kind of feel that experience, see the bugs crawling through. And
so people are just going to the schools and like teaching them?
Yeah, there's a staff member that's been doing this for maybe 7 or 8 years now. So this is like her vibe.
Shout out.
Yeah, and they're getting a lot of other stakeholders involved where they are kind of more or less doing real research and seeing kids like get an understanding at the beginning of the program and then an assessment at the end of the program and really see their growth and their learning happen so that there's like concrete evidence that this is working.
We taught them. Yeah, they learned.
They learned, see? Yeah. And that's amazing.
Yeah,
I mean,
that is exciting.
That goes so far that it's hard to even quantify what that will mean in the future for that kid and that experience that they got. There's the donation station and working with local farmers.
Farmers market, right? That's where you can go to.
Yeah, you can give them money directly, or the farmers will give their extra produce to the donation station, which then gives it to local food banks around the area.
You can donate money or produce. Like you can go to the farmers market, buy produce to support the people at the market, and then turn around and donate that produce to the CFI.
Yep.
Right? Right, if you don't want to just donate straight to the CFI, but if you do donate money to the CFI, that in turn goes where? It goes to the CPA, or like they're using these funds for like the school gardens. Like, what is the CFI doing when you donate money to it?
Well, I imagine at the farmers market, it's for the donation station, so it's for them to buy more food directly from farmers or the CPA, which then just allows them to give more fresh produce and non-shelf stable products to the local food bank to pair with the canned.
Because that's what differentiates. That's what makes the CFI special, is that it's specifically the perishable produce items that no pantry really has access to.
Yep. And they can get it to them like when they have their regular distribution to their folks that they serve. So CFI is very nimble and flexible to kind of meet those needs. There's a Nourishing Networks program, which is kind of going out into the community and kind of more or less group interviewing folks about like what's important to them in the context of local food and making sure that healthy food is at like an important part of their life, and what does that look like. And so that's also kind of capturing stories and evidence to show like what works and what doesn't when you're trying to kind of integrate this idea into a community. The Discovery Kitchen, too, is a cool program.
The Discovery Kitchen.
So this is like workshops in the community it's often like someone in the CFI network, a volunteer or someone that's just been involved, and they know how to do like something really cool, like they know how to prepare like a really fun dish using local food. So then people can come in, kind of be part of that, and do a workshop all together. And then they eat a meal together at the end, or they know how to do this and they can take it to their own kitchens or do their own, neighborhood discovery kitchen
That's cool.
event if they want. So CFI plugs in a lot of different ways to support the whole local food ecosystem. And it comes at a way that's like very focused on justice and equity and making sure that, everyone's fed, like literally and figuratively.
Yeah. Have you guys ever considered meat? That was something I thought of too. Like, how do we get meat? Because maybe that's just way more expensive. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a cost issue for sure. I think it's also a little bit more perishable and harder to manage than just produce.
Because you can't just like pluck a cherry tomato and then go give it away, right?
Yeah.
You gotta process a bird or process
you gotta process
a cow.
it. It has to be cold, like for real, the whole time. And then when it's delivered, it has to be, handled well as well.
So it's not maybe as malleable. Like I can throw an entire van full of squash and corn. Yeah. That makes sense.
A lot more to consider with meat, but I think maybe there's space for that in the future.
Well, I always thought maybe like a big deer drive. Like how could you get people to like kill deer and then take it to a processor, and then like maybe the CFI sets up a deal with that meat processor to get like a maybe discounted rate because they're gonna bring 50 deer this winter. Because like so then how like I don't know, like something like that though, like a drive, a literal food drive, like some I don't know, because my family are big deer hunters, and like I lost touch with it a little bit, like moved up to Cleveland and stuff, like kind of moved away, even just like going into college and stuff, like I didn't hunt as much with my dad and family, but coming back to Athens and maybe just tapping into a little bit more of that like primal, like kind of providing for myself thing, like I felt such an incredible sense of accomplishment, like putting a couple deer in the freezer, and then but that was where the idea is like, okay, well, like because like share hunting, the experience of that, but then like I don't know, but that is just kind of a once a year thing. But I don't know, man. That was just something I thought. Like maybe a deer drive, but maybe some people don't want deer meat. Maybe that's disgusting to them.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's interesting. We should kind of dive into that a little bit more.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah,
I'm an ideas guy. I just say ideas.
Oh, that's good. That's how the world moves. I mean, you got to throw ideas and see what sticks, and sometimes you got to throw them a couple times.
Yeah, heard that.
People have to be ready for ideas. I just love living in this community. It's given me a lot. I've been able to follow my sustainability career, and to give back. I mean, it's a privilege to serve on CFI's board. There's been so many amazing people that have helped keep that organization running, and it's great to be able to, provide what I can and be a cheerleader for their work. I mean, staff's incredible, really amazing people, and they're so selfless. And I'm always in awe just hearing what they're up to. Yeah,
you can find them, like, if you just, like, look on any of the socials, Community Food Initiative, you'll be able to find them, for sure.
Yeah, website's really good, too. A lot of good information there. They even they did a podcast series for a little bit, so you can listen to some of the interviews that they've done over the years.
That's cool.
Lots to learn with CFI. With SOPEC. There's a lot of cool people in Athens that are doing sustainability stuff. So I just see myself as a big cheerleader for that, and trying to uplift that as much as possible. That's part of what makes Athens great, among hundreds of other cool things, which you will have the pleasure of learning and interviewing as you go. Yeah, it's really cool. I had this idea of doing the same thing, a podcast about Athens people.
That's
so
awesome. Yeah.
I'm happy to share some more names and ideas of people you should get on the show.
Yeah, well, I like to do it on air. Who are some people that come to mind?
Oh, well, Chris Schmiel would be great.
Yeah, his name's come up a couple times.
Yeah, for sure. Sarah Conley, I think, would be really awesome. Cool. She's been involved in a lot of cool endeavors. Roger Wilkins, he was involved in the creation of AceNet, the creation of CASA, the creation of SOPEC. I mean, this is a really cool guy.
Nice.
That's been a staple in the community for a while. I could think of 100 people.
Yeah,
I really
cool.
could. I kind of should probably sit down and just send you a list of names
Yeah,
and
for sure. You know how to get a hold of
a
them,
little
definitely.
descriptor of what they'd be able to contribute.
Yeah. Well, this was beautiful, man. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate you sharing your story. Like, I appreciate what you're doing. It's great to know that there's people out here pushing these agendas. Like, I think what you're doing is great, man. And,
Yeah, it's a journey. I mean, we got to meet people where they're at.
Yeah.
It's a big thing to shift to local food, to clean energy, to all these kind of, very optimistic, very cool things sustainability-wise. But I really believe in it. I think, we just need to get different perspectives and different voices into the game, and I think they'll be able to bring a lot more to the table than, us early adopters, if you will, or folks that have already been in the space.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, what a pleasure. Matt Roberts, thanks.